Hi guys, so I am here with a much requested video about how I survive long haul flights. I love traveling, but I'm a very fickle flyer. Sometimes I'm super calm and my flight is smooth, and other times I'm sweaty and anxious. So hopefully these tips will help you no matter what kind of traveler you are. This video is going to be about what to do when you have 10 or more hours to look forward to on a plane. Maybe it's because I'm used to cross-country flights in America, which, depending on which direction you're going, can be 4 to 6 hours. But I consider anything under 5 hours to be a short flight. So I've grown quite used to the 11 or 13-hour flights to and from Korea. So I'd like to think that I have a good system down that I will be sharing with you now. Right now we're at the airport, but let's take a step back and do some prep work. As you'll see later in this video, music is essential for me not to lose my mind on a flight. I always make sure to refresh my playlist and make sure all the songs I really love are on there and charged its grandma up. I got this in 2009. As for my luggage, I am super stoked because I have a new carry-on bag. My purple luggage is actually from 2007, I believe. I've always wanted one of these hard case suitcases, and SHAPL hooked me up with one that I'm obsessed with. SHAPL is a Korean company that is all about designing cool new products that will just make your life easier. And they're starting a Kickstarter this month for this suitcase, and it's a crazy good deal. Like, the price is nuts for one of these hard case suitcases. So if you've ever wanted these, now is your chance. I will link the Kickstarter below. But it comes with these crazy features and it fits so much stuff. And there are multiple compartments, and I covered it with stickers, which is always fun. They also give you some stickers too when you get it. So yeah, I am very excited to pack this suitcase. I always make sure that my carry-on contains at least one change of clothes, as well as essentials like my toothbrush or other toiletries, because if your checked bag gets lost, you need to survive without your stuff for at least a day. I usually only travel with carry-on luggage, but this time I have to bring quite a few things back and forth from home, so I'm going to be checking a bag. But now let's get back to the airport. Today I'm on a nonstop, which is really rare. Usually I have to stop once or twice. We're going to be flying Singapore Air from Incheon to LAX in economy class because always. When I'm in the airport, I try to do things that I can't do on the plane. Like, I check Instagram, I grab some tea, I walk around. I try not to use up any of my flight distractions. That means I'm not listening to music, I'm not reading my book, unless there's a crazy delay or I have a really long book. I just try to avoid anything that I'm going to be using on the plane to fight my boredom. When I board, I immediately get all my gear out and into the seat pocket in front of me so I'm not fishing around for stuff when it gets cramped. I'm usually in the window seat, which means I have a tiny bit more room to wiggle, but it's just uncomfortable for the people around you. I would prefer to not have to reach under the seat. Then while I'm waiting for us to take off, I check through all my movie options. I try to narrow it down to my top 4 that I want to see, and then I read the security card, always look for my exits, look out the window or at the people still boarding. It's a great people watching opportunity. I am endlessly entertained. I break out my music right when we start taxiing so that when we take off, I have upbeat music to listen to. It really, really helps me when I'm feeling anxious. I listen to music until we hit cruising altitude and we're out of all that nasty beginning of flight turbulence and the seatbelt sign is off. Depending on your flight, they might dim the lights or ask you to close your window shades. So I try and take in the view as long as I possibly can. I just zone out and look at the world from the crazy heights because usually it's an insane view. Then when they close the windows or I do feel tingles of boredom, I start my first movie. And I've been on plenty of 13-hour flights with no personal entertainment, so if you're there, you will survive. In this case though, I had a lot to choose from. Singapore Air is also amazing when it comes to service, so they go above and beyond. But even on other airlines, this is when you get your first beverage. I usually go with hot tea, like they usually have green tea, because it helps calm me down. But sometimes the plane is nasty hot, so I get ice water. I definitely don't go for alcohol, and I don't do juices because sometimes juices make me more thirsty. So yeah, water or hot tea. And your meal will also be on the way. And this is pro tip time. So as you guys know, I have been a vegetarian for a very long time, so I have always ordered a special meal, and it is no extra cost. All you need to do is select a special meal at least 24 hours before your flight. You can do it on the website, or if it's not an option, you can call and they'll do it for you. The meal also comes out first, if that matters to you. I always feel awkward and wait for my seatmates to get their food before I start eating. And I personally really enjoy airplane food, mainly because I get to eat really good stuff. Even if you aren't a vegetarian or someone with a certain diet, just get one. They're so much better than the normal meals. And I usually choose the vegan or Hindu option. I don't really trust airline fish. And I don't know, it just makes me less fearful of stomach issues with most veggies and it's mostly veggies and carbs. So I don't know, I just feel safer. It's a personal choice, but yeah, people are always really jealous of my special meal, and you usually get more fresh fruit if that's something you're interested in. And this sounds weird, but I pause my movie for this and just focus on eating. It sounds like a really small thing, but it keeps you occupied for an extra 20 minutes. And when you're on a flight for 13 hours, every 20 minutes counts. Now, if you run into turbulence, I do one of two things depending on my mood. I'll either pause everything, my movie, my music, and I will just sit really, really still and try to focus on my breathing and just focus on the plane. I usually stare at like a corner of the wall and just try not to move. Sometimes this helps, and sometimes it makes me hyper aware of every little plane movement. So that is when I move on to my second option, dance music. I put on some bumping track and very subtly dance in my seat. My swaying and head bobbing makes me less likely to feel the plane moving, and if I'm in a really good mood, sometimes the added bumps to the plane, it kind of adds to my dancing. So yeah, have a dance playlist on hand. I highly suggest like Japanese pop rock, gets me every time. Once you're done with 2 movies or so, put on a sleep mask and try to sleep. Chances are the plane is dark anyway, and they're trying to get you in the mood to sleep, so just give in. Some people try to stay awake or fall asleep at certain times during the flight because of jet lag, but to me it has nothing to do with sleep. It is all about natural light. I take care of my jet lag once I'm on the ground and surrounded by sunlight, which will shift my body clock. So I kind of sleep whenever I want to on the plane. No matter how much you sleep on a 13-hour flight, you're going to be tired afterwards just from all the travel. So I never really have problems falling asleep the day after, regardless of how much I sleep. Another super important thing to do on these long flights is to get up and stretch. Go to the back of the plane where the flight attendants sit and do a little stretching, or just like while you're waiting for the bathroom. And if you don't want to stretch, at least just stand up. Your legs will really thank you. And absolute minimal, if you do not want to stand up for 13 hours, at least rotate your ankles in your seat. Try writing the alphabet with your toes. It helps reduce swelling and it actually prevents blood clots. You'll probably still be a little bit swollen when you get off the plane, but it really helps, trust me. Once I'm done with sleep and movie watching, I turn to my books. I either bring a new book I'm excited about or an old book I can read over and over. I used to have this paperback version of The 10th Kingdom, which is like a 23-hour mini-series, and it got me through so many flights. It literally fell apart during one flight, and I am devastated to this day. Sometimes though, when it's dark, I feel really awkward turning on the lights, so maybe bring yourself a book light. I don't know, I just feel awkward, so if you have one, bring a personal book light. Also, I've definitely hopped on the face mask on the plane trend, especially when flying to and from Korea. Literally nobody cares. So around 3/4 of the way through my flight, I toss one of these on and start my movies again. And again, chances are the plane is going to be dark, so no one's gonna see you. It's totally fine, just put one on. And around this time, we're home free. Grab another tea, get ready for your next meal, and start filling out your immigration forms. Then just go with whatever your heart desires. If you feel another movie, reading, some Sudoku. I personally don't use my iPad or laptop or anything, but if you have games, do that. I get really excited about landing, so if I'm being honest, I would just listen to music for the last 2 hours and be totally content, trying to peek through the window and just counting down for 2 hours. I don't know, I can waste a lot of time in my head. You get fed about an hour before landing, and then 30 minutes to touchdown, you'll start descending. So hopefully you'll be able to open your windows, which is especially important for getting your natural body clock on local time, and put your stuff away, but keep that music for the landing, and congratulations on your journey. So on this flight, I'm landing at 6 a.m. in LA, and I'm gonna try and stay outside and soak up some sun so that my body will naturally reset itself. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that wherever you are flying to, whenever you are flying, you have very safe travels. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!